Yo, what is happening? What is happening, y'all? It is me coming back at you again with another live stream vid. Oh, we got a lot to talk about today. In other words, some would say to unpack. So, list of things. I'm going to try to keep this live stream less than maybe, I would say, 3 hours at best. But knowing, the fact that you be on these live streams and doing a podcast, time just fly by real quick. Then you would even know it has been 3 hours. So I'm going to try to keep it under 3 hours minimum. But yeah, I'm seeing a lot of comments on other channels going in about the fights that took on that went down yesterday. And by the way, one of the best weekends of boxings I've ever had witnessed in my life. So I mean, it was a lot of great fights going on that weekend, and one of them, some people are calling a controversy. I'll get into that one, and another one, some people felt that a dive had occurred. I'll get into that one as well. Just freaking ludicrous and nonsense. But I'm gonna go ahead and unpack everything, and I'm gonna go ahead and chime in on give my 2 cents on a lot of things that went down. Yeah, what up, Joe host? Yeah, I'm definitely going to get into that one because I'm going to go in on people who are suggesting that Wilder fight was fixed. I mean, this is just bizarre. I mean, this is really, really bizarre thinking from fans who, I mean, I don't know, casual fans who think that fight was a dive. I mean, in fact, these are the same fucking fans that are criticizing Wilder for taking this fight after getting beat up badly by Tyson Fury in this the previous two fights before this one. Okay. Robert Helenius was going into this fight with momentum. All right. He came off back-to-back wins over Adam Kornacki, beat him in devastating fashion in fights that he wasn't supposed to win. Going to the fight, Robert Helenius was rated in the top 15, maybe top 20 at best, but definitely top 15 in my book. So definitely a good opponent to come back to fight against. Not some guy who's rated top 30 or top 40, whatnot. And some will argue that this opponent, Robert Helenius, is better than who Tyson Fury is going to fight next, which is Derek Chisora. I know. We can go back to the fight that happened many years ago between Robert Helenius and Derek Chisora. Many people felt that Chisora got the short end of the stick. He should have gotten the decision. I get that. I agree. But at the end of the day, is what you've done for me lately, and that's what boxing's all about. Chisora barely survived against Kubrat Pulev, who, by the way, was way over the hill. And some people felt that Chisora lost that fight, but it is what it is. I gave Chisora the win, but if people felt that Pulev won, then I couldn't argue that either. But anyways, I digress. So let me go ahead and unpack a lot of things before I get into the Wilder thing. I'll be real quick with it, I promise you, because Wilder, we got to really talk about in detail. So capping off, starting off the weekend, I didn't get a chance to watch much of the Australian undercard that was on the Matchroom banner that featured Dempsey McKean, and Sky Nicholson, along with Brock Jarvis and Hero, who's the main event. So, or Miro, I'm sorry, Miro, who's the main event. I believe it's Hero or Miro. I can't, I've got the last name, but yeah, let me look it up really. Is it Miro or Hero? Because I know the fight only ended in one round. I did get to see that one, and that was a devastating straight left that that Hero hit Brock Jarvis with, and Liam Piro, Liam Piro. I mean, devastating knocked out Brock Jarvis. I mean, Brock Jarvis, he's a natural small guy. He started his career at flyweight, then all of a sudden he's at 140. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, he could look kind of big to be at 140, but it is what it is. Needless to say, though, it was it was a very good knockout performance by Liam Piro, whatnot. But other than that, I think, I mean, he definitely got ways to go because he was the headliner. He was the main event along with Brock Jarvis. But other than that, yeah, I mean, I didn't really see too much of that card other than the Sky Nicholson performance. Very good performance. And she probably needs a couple more fights before she start fighting for a title. In women's boxing, they do accelerate these women into world level fights very quickly. It's because of the fact that the talent pool is not too big. So, especially Sky Nicholson, who's been a amateur for quite a while, and I think she's an Olympian as well. Yeah, she's also an Olympian. So, yeah, so definitely, they're she's being fast tracked and whatnot. So, not known to be a knockout artist. Very good southpaw, very good fundamentals, very quick on her feet, very good fast combinations. So yeah. Anyways, yeah, I'm gonna move on to that one. But the one fight I want to talk about real quickly is the all women's card that took place on the Sky Sports Boxer card. Obviously, Ben Shalom was the promoter of that card. Very good card. It featured Caroline Dubois, April Hunter, who's a loudmouth, by the way. I'm gonna get into probably real quickly, and also Lauren Price. All three of those women had their showcase fights. They did pretty impressive job, whatnot. Lauren Price scored her first stoppage, first ever stoppage in her pro career. She's now 2-0 with one stoppage on her record. Caroline Dubois, she did a pretty good job with her opponent. April Hunter, same thing, who's a loudmouth. Obviously, she doesn't like Claressa Shields, so she was praying to God that Claressa would lose that fight. But we'll get into that one shortly. But other than that, moving on to the main, the co-main event, Alicia Baumgartner versus MIKAELA Mayer. As I stated yesterday, I had scored that fight for Baumgartner 6-4. Okay, close fight. If you felt that Mayer could have gotten the decision, I'm not going to be mad at you. But to be honest with you, I thought it would be very difficult to give her the decision, no more than a draw. And the reason why I say that is because Mayer started that fight too late. She gave away the first 3 rounds, okay? And let me tell you something about that. When it comes to women's boxing, you cannot afford to give away rounds like that, especially if they're only 10 rounds and it's 2 minutes. You cannot do that. And if you're going to do that, maybe 1 round at best, okay? But you can't give away no more than 2 rounds in a 10-round fight, especially if there's only 2 minutes. You cannot do that. And MIKAELA Mayer probably knows that, and that's the mistake that she's going to have to live with for the rest of her life, because she clearly lost the first 3 rounds. Yes, rounds 4, 5, and 6, she definitely, I scored those rounds. Round 5 was close. You could swing it for whoever you want, because both ladies landed the same amount of punches, connected. They were both active in that round. So, yeah, I gave Mayer the benefit of the doubt in that round. But anyways, round 7, round 8, and round 10, I gave it to Baumgartner, because MIKAELA didn't have much left other than that jab. That's all she had. That's all she had. But at the same time, I had no problem with the result for Baumgartner 6-4, because, again, Baumgartner won the first 3 rounds, and she won the championship rounds. The middle rounds I gave to Mayer. No question about it. As far as the championship rounds, I gave Mayer maybe the 9th round. That's the only round I gave her as far as the championship rounds. But she lost that fight. She has no one else to blame but herself. She started late, and you cannot do that in a 10-round fight, especially when it's only 2 minutes. You cannot do that. So I don't know why she started. She felt compelled that she in her mind, she felt she was robbed. She gave a little interview with Sky Sports. She didn't bother showing up at the post-fight presser. Obviously she didn't do an immediate interview after the loss, because she went back to her locker room, was upset with the decision. I think she was crying. And look, I get it. It's when you lose, you don't want to lose, especially on a big stage like that. You're emotional. A lot of people are riding on you to win that fight. It is what it is. Yeah, what up, BJ? I'm gonna drop the link in a minute. Give me a moment. So yeah, I don't want to hear this crap about again how the hell that Mayer she did not get robbed from that fight. Mayer clearly, in my opinion, not saying clear, yeah, she lost that fight. This is remind me again, I have to repeat myself from my last stream. Yesterday's stream, I should say. This fight reminds me of Sugar Ray Leonard and Marvin Hagler. The way Marvin Hagler fought Leonard the first 4 rounds. Gave them away because he felt that he can outbox and confuse Leonard by fighting orthodox. I don't know why Hagler thought he could do that, but that's what cost him the fight. That cost him the fight, because of you giving away rounds like that, and judges are not going to give you the benefit of the doubt if you don't do something spectacular to turn it around. And that's exactly what Mayer didn't do. She didn't do anything spectacular to turn that fight around. And for people to say she dominated that fight from start to finish, I don't know what fight you were watching, to be honest with you. I really don't understand that. If you look at the punch stats, and again, punch stats can be off, but it actually, the punch landed, and as far as the punches thrown and the connect rate, it pretty much is aligned to what I've seen. Baumgartner outlanded Mayer by 15 punches in that fight. She dominated her in the power punch status by nearly double, almost tripled it. Well, actually doubled it, I should say. The one thing you want to give Mayer the benefit of, give her credit for, she did dominate in the jab department. And some idiots saying that I don't understand why jabs don't count. I say, yeah, jabs do count, but if your opponent's throwing way more power shots than you, then that's going to offset the jab department for the most part. And Baumgartner dominated there. She landed 78 power shots compared to MIKAELA Maer's 39. So, and in the total, and Baumgartner landed 32 jabs and Mayer landed 61. So in total, 115 to 110. I think that's the correct count. But other than that, she outlanded Mayer. So look, it was a nip and tuck fight. You know, you can argue it's gone either way. I wouldn't be mad if you would believe that, but this was no robbery. So stop the nonsense, people. Please, let me drop the link. Stop the nonsense. I mean, because I don't understand why people are going on this diatribe that Baumgartner got a gift decision. No, she did not. She won that fight. She earned it. I don't give a damn what anybody say. Mayer, if you felt Mayer won the fight, great, but she didn't dominate the fight. She didn't get robbed. She got herself to blame. So live with it. All right. Now, as far as the rematch is concerned, Baumgartner shot that down. She's like, hell no, I'm not giving a rematch. I'm moving on to Yumin Choi. Now, ideally, yes, Yumin Choi should be the next opponent because she's the last belt holder at 130. She's held that WBA title for nearly 8 years now. And Yumin Choi, man, I mean, I don't know what's going on with her. I mean, she's back in Seoul, Korea, in South Korea, where she's from. And obviously she's defending her title there, but Eddie Hearn supposedly has a co-promotional deal with Yumin Choi. So I mean, and yeah, he also co-promotes Baumgartner. So hopefully we can get that fight made. But they have been trying to get Choi to fight other opponents on the Matchroom banner for a long time now, and it hasn't really progressed to anything. She's only had pretty much one fight under the Matchroom banner, and that's it, from my understanding. I could be wrong, but yeah, we got to get that fight going because Baumgartner definitely wants that fight. As far as the rematch is concerned, yeah, I think the Baumgartner Mayer rematch should happen. I think it should happen. But if it doesn't happen immediately, as Alicia has pointed out, okay, so be it. Go after Choi. But if she fights anyone else other than Choi, then yeah, people are going to criticize her for that. But we definitely got to get that rematch with MIKAELA Mayer. We definitely need to see it. So, good tactical fight. Definitely wasn't an explosive fight as we would hope for because of the animosity between those two, the pure hatred between Baumgartner and Mayer. So, yeah, what's next for MIKAELA Mayer? I mean, she's too big. As I pointed out yesterday, she is too damn big to be making 130, man. I don't know how she makes that weight. I know Baumgartner, rumor mills that Baumgartner has struggles to make that weight as well, but needless to say, though, I think Baumgartner makes that weight a little bit more comfortably than the MIKAELA Mayer. I think, if anything, MIKAELA needs to move up to 135. She can fight at 135 or 140 because, I mean, she is big to be at 130. It's amazing how she makes that weight. Amazing to me how she does it, but it is what it is. But it definitely is going to get much more tougher for going forward because obviously at 135, 140, yeah, that division is deep when it comes to women. You got McCaskill, you got Chantel Cameron, you got Katie Taylor, who's the undisputed lightweight champion. You got Delphine Pursoon, Maeva Hamadouche. I know MIKAELA Mayer beat Hamadouche, but that was a close fight. Maybe we can get a rematch on that one. Run that back again. You got who else? You got a lot of the talent pool is so big over there at one. I mean, not the talent pool. I'm sorry. The division is deep. Amanda Serrano, I know she's campaigning at featherweight, but she can go back up to lightweight if she wants to. Maybe we can get that Amanda Serrano fight versus MIKAELA Mayer. I'm favoring Serrano to win it. So I mean, it's gonna get very, very tough for MIKAELA going forward. So yeah, it is what it is. Moving on to Claressa Shields versus Savannah Marshall. Damn good fight, explosive fight. Obviously, people felt that this was going to be more of a technical fight, but it wasn't. It was a very damn banging fight from the beginning. I mean, if you reverse the fortunes, we expected this type of fight with the Baumgartner and the Mayer and Baumgartner situation. But yeah, that was more of a technical chess match. This one was a technical brawl. Let's put it that way. It was a technical brawl from the start to the finish, and I have to say, shout out to Claressa Shields, man. She was a dog in that fight. And Savannah Marshall, she can hold her head up high because I scored it 7-3. Very dominant performance by Shields. Again, Marshall has no reason to be ashamed. She performed admirably, but it wasn't enough. She was clearly getting out picked apart in many of those rounds. Whatnot. And, as far as her defense is concerned, I was pretty impressed with Savannah. She was rolling off the shots pretty well. She was herky-jerky diving underneath those shots, kind of like, the Fury style of fighting when they have that herky-jerky style. Their stance is more, they're more in a perpendicular stance with their, with their shoulder, with their right shoulder facing their opponent, their left shoulder's facing their opponent slightly, and their chin tucked in, and they're moving and they up and down with their head movement and their upper body. So I get it. I get all that, but very good performance. And like I said before, I just really didn't think there was no really true animosity between Claressa and Savannah. I think they're truly good friends. They had to sell the fight, and much respect between the two. As far as the rematch is concerned, I know Savannah says she wants it. Why not? She did perform admirably, even though she got dominated. She didn't get knocked out, but she clearly was dominated there. Why not? But at the end of the day, Claressa said that, look, if the rematch has to happen, it's got to go. It's got to happen back in the United States, which is, we're in Detroit, where she's from. So why not? Why not? So yeah, great performance by Claressa Shields. Where does she go from here? Like I said yesterday, I don't know, man. Maybe we can get that rematch with Franchon Cruz de Jean. I definitely want to see that rematch. I mean, Franchon, cannot make 160, so forget about that. So Claressa's got to go back. She's got to go up to super middleweight and fight her, and that'd be for the undisputed super middleweight title. Why not? We have the undisputed middleweight champion versus the undisputed super middleweight champion. I think we need to get that rematch between Franchon Cruz versus Claressa Shields. I want to see it. And to me, I mean, that'll be a fight that Claressa is definitely going to be on the back foot too, because Franchon she's a bull boy, because she comes forward and she be throwing a lot of heavy shots. I mean, Claressa is technically better than Franchon. It's definitely apparent, but Franchon, she's definitely got a chin. She could take big punches. I mean, the way she handled De La Ruse in their super middleweight fight, I thought De La Ruse was going to win that fight because of the technicality between the two is vast, but Franchon just pretty much bullied Devereux. Celine Devereux. She bullied her in that fight, and that was the undercard of Taylor versus Serrano. So, yeah, great performance. Moving on to Devin Haney versus George Kambosos. Real quickly, I scored it real time. I scored that fight 10-2, initially 9-3, but I revised it 10-2. But on all honesty, if you felt that Kambosos only won maybe one round or probably didn't win any rounds, then why not? I can't really knock you for that. But yeah, same result like it was the first fight. You can argue Kambosos won a little bit, maybe one or two more rounds in the first fight, but he definitely was gamed. He tried his best, but I was very confused about his adjustments, because Kambosos was like switching southpaw and switching orthodox, all within like a weird motion, trying to throw off David Haney's timing. And I thought that was bizarre, but it didn't work. It didn't work. He was lunging in again. And what I don't understand is that why wasn't he fainting? Why was he fainting? Because I think that's why he was losing this fight like he did the first one, because I didn't see any feints. And every time he threw a shot, it was telegraphed. That's how Devin Haney was catching him over and over and over again. And shout out to Devin Haney, man, because there was moments in that fight where Kambosos landed a very good shot, and that cut Devin Haney above his right eye. It was a pretty bad cut. It was a left hook, I believe, and it was in the 9th round. He cut him, and Kambosos hurt him in that round. I still gave it to Haney because he's dominated for the most part, but he was hurt. He was stunned in that round, and he had to bite down on his gum shield, and he had to battle back, and he cut Kambosos himself too. So, and that was obviously accumulation of punches and power shots. So, props to Devin Haney. He defended his undisputed title in Australia again, and what you guys probably didn't notice is that his Ring Magazine belt wasn't there too. And I have to point that out too. Claressa didn't have her ring belt as well, and she was stripped of her Ring Magazine title before the Marshall fight. I don't know why the ring did that, but I'm not going to get into all that. I don't know why. And Devin Haney had protested the ring about their rankings, and I think they stripped him or he vacated the belt. I don't know, but he's saying that he's going to boycott the Ring Magazine. I mean, it is what it is, but he definitely did it again. Dominated George Kambosos. Where does Kambosos go from here? He said he's going to be back, but it's going to be a long road for him to get back into the championship route again. So he definitely needs to get a couple of constant building fights and start fighting some eliminators, and then we will probably see him at a world level. Or a title level again. I mean, especially if Devin Haney is going to move up in weight. Definitely, that gives Kambosos an opportunity to fight for a belt again when that happens. As far as Devin Haney is concerned, definitely he has a shot at beating Lomachenko, because I know that's the fight that they're going to set up, Top Rank that is. And Lomachenko has to get past Jermaine Ortiz, who, by the way, is his sparring partner. Yippee, whoop-de-yay, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, the same people that criticize Wilder for fighting the sparring partner. I want to see that same energy when Lomachenko goes up in there against his sparring partner, Jermaine Ortiz. Oh, wait a minute, I forgot. There's just the same energy. And the same people who come out and criticize Wilder and clown him for fighting a sparring partner, they clearly don't know boxing at all. I'm sorry to say that. Either they start watching the sport about maybe a few years ago and they don't know it at all, because many great fighters have fought their sparring partners, or vice versa. I mean, this has happened it's happened throughout history, time and time and time again. I don't know why, when it comes to Deontay Wilder, it's a different standard. Many great fighters have done it. If you want to talk about modern day fighters, let's talk about Klitschko. Vladimir Klitschko has fought Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. And before he fought them, they were his sparring partners. Huh? Let's not forget about that. Tyson Fury and Dillian White, they sparred countless times. Dillian was his sparring partner. Have we forgotten that? Oh, boy. I mean, it is what it is. Let me get into it. EJ just came in. What's up, EJ? What up?
Yo, what's up on that? What's going on, people in the chat, man? So, yeah, what you cooking on? What you cooking on, bro?
What's up?
Yeah, what's up, man? What you cooking on, bro?
I'm cooking on the whole card from all the fight cards yesterday. I just got finished talking about Devin Haney dominate Kamboses again. And, then Lomachenko fight is next if he gets past Jermaine Ortiz, which is a sparring partner, by the way. And nobody's criticizing Lomachenko for fighting the sparring partner, but they're going to criticize Deontay Wilder for doing it. So, I mean,
yeah. Look, everyone look for something, but let's start with Claressa Shields shutting down Savannah Marshall and all that talk. You know what I mean? All that talk's done now. Like she's the greatest woman fighter of all time. No one could tell her how many times. 3-time undisputed. Like, bruh, like, come on. Is it 3 or 4-time undisputed? I never know. 3-time undisputed weights, and she's talking about going to welterweight. Ain't never did that, bruv. Like, that's in it. She go to MMA. She's the most complete fighter. And the funny thing enough, yeah, Savannah was in there. She was all right, She hit Claressa Shields, but see what it is? She's used to hitting people and then going down. I'm gonna hurt her. Yeah, you hurt her, but she's elite. She's elite. When you go against elite fighters, you might hurt her, but they gritted it. Claressa said she was partially blind in one eye for most of the fight. I said, sheesh, bruv. That's how much my male girl hit her, that she, one side of her face, she couldn't see out of her eye. I'm like,
she probably was seeing double vision from that eye when she got hit.
That's crazy. No, not paranoid, not double vision. No, she said I couldn't see out of the eye, bruv. Like, so basically, that's partially what happens to your brain. It's shutting down. That's what people go. When people get knocked down, they just see black. So basically, one of her eyes was just like she couldn't see. She goes, I was fighting basically with one eye. I said, yo, bro, this boxing thing is serious. That's how much. Yeah, because you can see the twerk of Savannah was banging the shot. She goes, she's the hardest opponent she faced. You know what I mean? It was hard because, like, these both girls are the top of the tree, top draw. And even though Claressa was banging her up, right? Savannah was coming back with some shots. That fight was beautiful. That fight was better than the Katie Taylor fight, man. It just was.
Serrano? You know what? I mean, that's an argument there.
You know why? I tell you it was better? Because it was competitive the whole rail out. You know what I mean? Like, Amanda Serrano took her foot off the pedal and let Katie come back. Katie didn't even hurt her. But this one here, you're watching at the edge of your chair, you're thinking, well, boy, can Claressa take her out? And can Savannah come back? Like, every round was just like that, bro. But women's boxing, credit to them, good. And then, Savannah Marshall, like Claressa Shields, great fight. And Savannah Marshall goes, bro, she's the best ever. She is what she says he is. And she gave props to her. That's a beautiful thing. Let's move on to BAUMGARDNER. Bruv, Mayo, listen, she didn't help trying to kick BAUMGARDNER at the weight. That didn't help, right? I just kind of dislike for her, just staring in when no one should kick anyone with their feet. I said that's the ultimate disrespect, and it doesn't matter what BAUMGARDNER said to you, that's the ultimate disrespect. But bruh, I watched the fight first, when I was judging amateur boxing show, and I thought Mayo looked like she was clearly winning, right?
Yeah.
But when I came home and the fight is on YouTube and you just there for you to see, I'm like, yo, BAUMGARDNER's piecing her up with some fast combinations. Like, they were so fast, maybe I didn't see him on the phone because it looks like Baffingi was winning, but I was like, she's winning the round. She's fighting like a pro. She's throwing some real good crisp combinations. And Mayo never came out of second gear. It's like she's just jab like an amateur, pep in. There was combo combination where she got some work, but I was surprised about Al Gevin. He never says, what, open up on her and take the round. Let the judges know that you want to take the fight. She stayed in the same gear the whole fight. BAUMGARDNER said, okay, if you ain't going to do anything, and there was a couple of rounds when BAUMGARDNER just buzzed her. buzzed up Mayo,
She
buzzed
even
her
cut
up.
her. Yeah, she even cut her above the right eye, and that
Yeah,
was
yeah,
7th
yeah.
round when
I mean
Baumgartner dominated.
yeah, I saw that. That wasn't too much of a factor, but
Yeah,
a fight. But even saying that, the fight was it looked like there was more rounds Mayo got than most people give. Now the English commentary, my gosh, Dan, I don't
yeah.
know if you listen to it. My gosh, they were bruv. They already had Figgy winning and going on to be undisputed. They were so biased. They didn't see nothing what Baumgartner was doing, right? And
Yeah.
I was like, rah, I
Well,
couldn't
you know
believe it. Man.
why? Because Baumgartner's a matchroom fighter. Of course, they're gonna try to.
No, but not
Yeah,
Baumgartner. No, sorry, Mayo. They were biased to Mayo, bruv.
yeah. Of course, they were biased to Mayer. But what I'm saying is that the reason why they thought Baumgartner got a benefit of the doubt because she's a matchroom fighter. That's why.
Yeah, but the thing
Yeah,
is, a matching fighter. But I don't think it's that. I think she's done commentary at Sky Sports, and like they would prefer her to win, and so their
yeah.
narrative
Because
every
they have
minute
that
was
deal
to
with
just
Top Rank. So yeah,
their narrative, yeah, that's right. The narrative was to disregard anything but Bongonia, but the judges saw it correctly. It was a split decision,
yeah.
and they got the right. In my opinion, they got the right winner. Like, I mean, most of the crowd there was booze around the arena, but when you watch it. Nah, yeah, the judges got it right, man. They got it right. They did. I think I was listening to on the WhatsApp group, we're in,
Yeah.
and you were saying, yeah, man, she's doing fast crisp combinations and she's taking the rounds. And I think I think Richard might have disagreed, whatever.
Yeah.
I think that might have disagreed, but I'm like, yeah, Dan called it right there. He called it right on. I said that she's doing it. She's doing enough. She goes, if you're not gonna the way Bankano, you ain't gonna do anything more, then I'm just gonna keep this going. I'm gonna keep this going, and we're gonna go to the scorecards and let's see how this goes. But Baumgartner buzzed her with a good shot as well. I think, and you know, surprised how Mayo, like, she rehydrated. She looked big in there, man.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, how the hell she even makes 130, man? She looked like she was a light middleweight in there. To be honest with you, like 147, maybe welterweight. She looked big. I'm
she
like,
looked big in there, man. She looked big in there, and then it's like her attitude after just real shows she ain't got no class, bro. You ain't got no class, man. You know what I mean? And it's like their rivalry. Well, I won't be surprised if they fight again, but like, to be fair, it didn't really catch too fire because Mayo didn't want to do anything more. I think Al Gavin, we gonna be on jab. He's still, because remember, he's primarily been in the amateurs, right?
yeah.
He was with Vernon Forrest when Vernon Forrest turned pro. You know what I mean? Through his
Al
career.
Mitchell,
Al Mitchell, sorry, not Al Gavin, Al Mitchell. And he never really came out of that game. He never went, look, just keep running the jab. You're doing well. I'm like, yo, bruh, like, open up, man. She could open up with a flurry and try to take the round.
Here's the problem with that.
Yeah, she could do that because Baumgartner was faster and she hit harder.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, though, because she was very worried about those counters and those combinations. That's why she didn't want to open up. She was worried about that. So, yeah, she wasn't going to outpunch Gardner in the exchanges. That wasn't going to happen. So that's why the best way to win that fight is try to keep at the end of the jab and then try to land some follow up with a jab with a couple hooks there and there. You can't just press forward with the jab, think you're going to win the fight by that. No way, you're not going to do that. Not with Alicia Baumgartner. You can't do that. You got to take chances against her. To your point, you got to take chances.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. I said to myself, yeah, bro, like, you know, that fight was like a real technical fight. I think the judges got it right. You know what I mean? And Tim Bradley, he was wrong. He was talking reckless as well. And it's like a lot of them media like, nah, man, she won. I was like, bro, I think you need to watch it again. I think you need to watch that fight again, bro. Like, you could clearly see she's doing work and you ain't giving her credit for her work, man. And she won. And I was like, yeah. And she was talking, Mayer couldn't take it. So let's go on to Kamboses and Devin Haney. Oh, man. I mean, boy, what can I say? Yeah, Haney to me, when he got on the scales, I said, bro, they were right, you know. He's struggling for weight, bro, because he looked dehydrated. I said, shit. I said, I don't know how long he'll stay at lightweight, bro. He looked like
he's got one more fight, though, because he's got to fight Lomachenko, because that's part of the contract.
So. Okay, right. I don't know how, you know, he got to be disciplined to, but he's too big, man. And especially after he rehydrates, he's too strong. He's too strong, and Lomachenko ain't gonna get. See, he struggled with Teofimo's jab, right?
Yeah,
he ain't gonna get trouble with Devin Haney, and he old. Nah, I was surprised he bashed him up, man. Devin Haney's gonna cook him like curry goat. You know what I mean?
You know, we'll see. I mean, styles make fights. You know,
he's got short arms, man. He's got short arms, and he's too short, man. He's too short. He's too short, and he's old. And it's like Devin Haney's at the top of his game, but let's not make no thing. Kambosas is not no Lomachenko, you know. But Lomachenko his inactivity is a factor, and Devin Haney is regularly fighting regularly, and that will factor in his sharpness. You know what I mean? So you know, He's got one more fight with maybe Lomachenko, but to me, he looked like he could vacate the belts any day and say, fuck that, I'm going up weight. Because to me, I don't see him holding on to weight. When I saw him on the scales, he looked like skeleton, bro.
Oh, yeah, he looked like skeleton.
He used to look, I never did him, he used to look so comfortable, but then I look at his body and I say, he looked like he's growing into welterweight. He's growing into a man. What is he, 21, 22? 22 now, right?
No, he's
23. He's bro. His body's growing nicely. He's growing. He's filling out like it almost looked like he got taller as well. He's got taller. And he looks stronger. Like, remember before he looked weak when he got hit by Linares and stuff like that? Nah, he's just solid now. He's looking solid.
It's funny, though, because when he used to get hit, dude, I was wondering about his chin because sometimes he used to get buzzed on shots he shouldn't be getting buzzed at.
But he's on a man strength, though. But I think he's strengthening up there. I think the strength and conditioning or he's strengthening, his stamina is much better. And I think he could come into Australia, and Kamboses didn't say that much, and doing what he did to him twice, that's impressive, bro. That shows some real, tenacity. And now he can go home and he can have a fight in front of his own people. Where's he from? Oakland? In California?
I think he's from Stockton or something. I think
he can have it. He can have it he can have that fight in the Golden State Arena. It'll be easy, bro. That'd be lit.
Yeah, why not? I mean, him and Lomachenko could fight there. I mean,
it'd be lit, bro. Yeah, like that would be lit, bro. That would be lit, bro. So yeah, you know what? He looks. You know what? I ain't gonna lie to you, Dan. Just looking at this kid, and I'm like, just looking at him on the reels. His upside is ridiculous. I couldn't believe the massive improvement that he's come from, and I'm saying so that he looks to me like a future pound for pound number one. Like if he continues, because he's already undisputed at lightweight. You know what I mean? And sky's the limit. The dream is that he's turning into what he said he's, and that's remarkable. You know what I mean? At 140, Josh Taylor, all them guys there. If Josh Taylor's still the champion, and they can do that fight, I think he's got a good chance of beating him. You know what I mean? A good chance of beating him.
Too. He definitely has a good chance because Taylor, the thing about him is that his game is mid range. Anything outside of that, like outside, Taj Taylor is not that good on the outside as people believe that. He's not. Not saying he's not a good boxer, but when it comes to mid range, he's definitely good there. But he cannot. You got to keep him on the back foot and keep him on the outside. That's when he struggles. So I think Devin can do that. He can keep him on the outside, keep him at the end of his jab. And just pretty much keep him guessing like he did Kamboses. Keep him guessing, keep him thinking a lot. But real quickly though, shout out to BG London, Hannah Gabriels, Christian Hammer versus Savannah Marshall. Yeah, why not? Carissa's old opponents. Those are damn good.
Hannah Gabriel's a heavyweight now. She's a heavyweight.
Yeah, she's light heavyweight, but she could come back down.
Light heavyweight. She's a heavyweight, man. She ain't light heavyweight. She's heavyweight. If I say heavyweight division, have you seen her?
She's big. Yeah, she's big. But she could come back down. She can make 160.
What? I think she can. She's like a big mama, bro. I don't think so, Dan, man.
You don't think so?
She's
all
old
right, maybe she's scared. She probably can't come back down. But you know what? Speaking of that, though, it's Franchon Cruz versus Savannah Marshall. But you know what? Savannah's gonna have to come up the weight because
Savannah don't want no smoke with no one. She never did. So what happened with Claressa? Claressa was the one who put the heat on her. Like, so Claressa dropped the belt. And then she picked up the belt and said, she goes, okay, now you've got one of my belts. We need to fight. She's been chasing her for the longest, but Savannah never wanted to fight her. But the media and everyone pressured her to things. That's why, see, look at Savannah. She was easy. So she submitted easy. She's like, the reason, look, she's not the one who gave the decision. The amateurs gave that decision, but she never in her heart never believed she won that fight. But people like to wind up Claressa Shields. That's what, you lost in the amateurs, and now she's what? And there's the wine. But now, what are you gonna say to Claressa now? What are you gonna say to her now? Like you know what I'm trying to say? Like you can't tell them like they she silenced all her critics. You know what I mean? Like she silenced all of them. Like
here's the thing too. Here's the thing I want to say something about that. She silenced the critics because every of her big fights, Hannah Gabriels, the Christina Hammers, Franchon Cruz, now Savannah Marshall, those are the big fights, right? That she's won. She dominated those fights, other than the Franchon Cruz fight, because that was a little closer. But other than that, she won it though. She won it. But I'm saying though, those wins to me, it's like she dominated those top quality, elite level wins. She dominated in those fights. She's definitely pound for pound number one, universally recognized, no question about it. Don't tell me about Katie Taylor. Katie Taylor, her biggest wins are controversial. She's either got gift decisions, and yes, they were razor thin. One of them was razor thin margin, like Jessica McCaskill probably. But some people felt she got a gift decision in that one. Delphine Pursoon, 2 fights. Some people, you definitely got a gift decision in the first one. Second one was a little closer, but some people felt that she still lost. Amanda Serrano, we definitely know she lost that fight. So come on, man. Don't tell me about Katie Taylor being pound for pound number one. Is Katie Taylor a great fighter? Yes, but she's definitely not pound for pound number one. Don't tell me she's better than Claressa. No, she's not. She's not. That's all I gotta say.
No,
So,
you make a good point, but bro, like you look, you don't get undisputed champions at multiple weights, bro. It just don't happen in the
yeah,
new belt era. She's 5-weight champion. You know what I mean? In
yeah,
different weight classes, you understand? You just don't do that. You know what I mean? That's not no bum shit. That's some serious shit. And another thing as well, this fight was her super fight.
yeah,
She was in the UK, ESPN, Sky
yeah.
Sports, and a network. This is the big time. I think she needs to come back and fight in the UK again and build on the UK audience. No point fighting in America. I don't think America respects women's fighting. I don't
Yeah,
think
I
they do.
agree. I think she needs to come back to the UK. I mean, there's nothing she
Yeah,
can do here in the US. I mean, look, the US does know who she is to some extent, but she has more of a following in the UK from the looks of it. She might as well just
yeah,
stay there and just make,
yeah,
just finish out her career there, in
yeah.
my view.
Well,
So
I don't
yeah,
know
that's
about finish out her career, man. She's got some fights. She got Jessica
McCall
McAllister. She wants to fight. I think Clarissa should. I think she should have that fight with
break
Cecilia Brækhus. Man, that's a dream fight. I mean, she old and shit, but like that's a possibility. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Brækhus have been fought. See, Brækhus was undisputed before undisputed, right? She was the
yeah,
first one, right?
yeah.
But shit, she's taking her claim of being the best woman. And like end of the day, like she must be looking at that, hating on that. Like, I don't. You avoided
Yeah,
her, right?
I mean, is it safe to say that maybe Carissa's achieved more than Cecilia Brækhus? Because Cecilia, no disrespect, Cecilia is an all-time great as far as women's concerned. She's definitely Hall of Famer. She's been a long-reigning champion for many years, but that's in one weight class. Carissa did it in 3 weight classes. So, what are your thoughts
No,
on that?
but yeah, I get it. And see, the thing is, yeah, she do it on some controversial decisions, and she hold down women in Europe, right?
Yeah,
And Carissa called her out. But you see, Carissa's got the point where she can make any fight possible. She know her money's gone up.
yeah,
She's the draw. Now, the funny thing is, why America not picking her up? Well, she's not with a major promoter. She's with
Salida.
Demetrius
Yeah,
Salido. If she was with let's give it I wouldn't even say Bob Byron, because he didn't do nothing for Michaela Mayer. He didn't do nothing for her. But I think like a bigger promoter in America, who else? What other promoters? There's Bob Byron and
De La Hoya, Golden Boy.
Al Heyman, maybe
Yeah,
someone like that, or Mayweather. Like she'd be bigger. Like she'd be bigger because you have that more bigger exposure. And like Mayweather giving her, she's the female TBE. That was a big boost in confidence for her. You know what I mean? And I
yeah,
like that. You know, he backed the girl, even though he signed Savannah Marshall. Savannah Marshall, she didn't have the ambition to be great, but Carissa, bruh, from 17, I mean, bruh, like she just beat everything. Everything. She's like, that was an all-time great women's card, and it will be looked at as the first. And you see these other young girls,
yeah,
the couple of amateur girls who went there, right? Who
yeah,
watched it in the arena, and they just saw that and they said, my God, I want to do that. So you got a whole new group of young girls who are going to grow up to that. Now they're talking about changing the minutes to 3, and they say, oh, if they was 3 minutes, Savannah would have won. Then they go,
no.
if it was long, that's what they said, right? And then they go, this is another one. Oh, if it was 12 rounds, I think Savannah had a chance. I said, shit, Savannah ain't complaining. Why are you?
Why exactly?
Cooking Cassius was so biased, yeah.
Yeah,
After the
I think
fight, he was trying to give her an excuse. She goes, nah, she just beat me. Even Peter Fury, he had to eat it, bro. He couldn't believe it because their man there, their narrative was they couldn't even see Sky and IFL and all the UK people, like they all wanted to push narratives, yeah, to give Savannah Marshall goes, nah, she beat me. She's the growth. She is what she says he is. And then after Peter said, yeah, man, she beat her. And then they couldn't do it. Because in their mind, they're bigging up the Furies. The Furies ain't shit, bro. The Furies
yeah.
ain't shit. And that big dummy, he better mind out, yeah, when he fights for Derek Chisora, don't put him on his back as well, bro. He better mind out.
Wishful thinking. Let's talk about that one real quickly, though, man, because the report just came out that fight is going to be confirmed for December 3rd, and that's going to be at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Yeah.
Oh Lord,
that's good, man. Yeah, UK will turn up. That's a great fight.
You really think they'll sell out that venue?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Dan, listen, Dan, you don't understand. Yeah, this is what I'm gonna say. You live in America, right?
Yeah.
You look down on certain things, like this guy's a bum and this guy's not good.
Oh, I never said he was a bum.
No, I'm not saying you specifically. Your countrymen, right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to say in the UK we don't see it like that, bro. We see that. Look at the two guys. They're gonna give it all, and this what I go. Yeah, Derek. We like Derek. I'll go support him. I like Tyson. He's a nice guy. He gives us a joke. That's the way UK. That's our mentality. We like, yeah, I'll go and watch that. You know, Derek's always, he never disappoints. He just comes to fight, right? Now, you've had that in the 70s with Joe Frazier. You have it with Ali. So even though these are not them faces, in the UK, remember the UK, bro, these are characters, bro. So yeah, it will sell out in Tottenham for real. Yeah, it will sell out, man, no doubt, bro. Listen, when you see the press conferences and the shit talking, bro, you're like, yeah, you can see.
Yeah, I mean that sure definitely bring the casuals in, but we all know how that fight's gonna turn out. You know it, and I know it. We
I
know
don't
it's
think
gonna.
so. I was talking to Charles, yeah. Talking to Charles, he said, "Well, we ready for it." He goes, I think we can surprise Fury, you know. We got
Don
a couple
Charles
of
is
picks.
training him.
Don Charles is trying Derek Chisora, yeah.
Okay, well, I
Yeah,
mean,
he got a couple of surprises, and also his son done 2 training camps with Fury. He knows Fury very well, so he's giving Derek the tips, man, to get through. So I think it might be not as easy as what we think, bro.
yeah.
You know what I mean? But you know, Fury's supposed to win, so I'm not gonna say anything different. But
well, yeah, I want to speak about that real quick because these Fury fanboys, I mean, not saying Fury fans, Fury fanboys, are some of them are actually supporting this fight. And the fact is that they're criticizing Wilder for fighting HELENIUS. Let me just tell you this. At least HELENIUS was arguably top 15, and that was a good comeback fight for him, especially coming off back-to-back knockout losses to Tyson Fury, okay? But look who Wilder's fighting next after HELENIUS. He's fighting Andrew Ruiz. Now, you compare that fight.
Hold on. Wilder's fighting Andrew Ruiz?
Yeah, that's pretty much going to be confirmed.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Wilder's going to beat his ass, bro.
I mean, that's gonna be a tough fight. I think that's gonna be
Ruiz can duck and dive, yeah, but like when Wilder, he's gonna slow. So when Wilder ejects that right hand, or that he's got a left hook now. I think was it a left? Was it a right hook he landed on HELENIUS, or a left hook?
He tried to land the left hook. He tried to land like a 4-punch combination in the exchanges when HELENIUS pushed him to the ropes. So
it was a left. It was a left. I know it was it was looked like a right hook. I think he landed, but you see Wilder under Malik, yeah, he's a bit more tricky. He's a bit more tricky. He's not a bit more tricky, but you see, Ruiz is very simple: head movement, pressure, and the stuff like that. Yeah, trying to get close. Yeah, and look, if he hits you, don't get it twisted. He'll put Joshua down. He'll put Wilder down. But Wilder, he's got good thing. He'll get off the canvas and line him up. So that was making for a good fight. Yeah. I like fight. So when they they got a date for that fight,
it's supposedly going to be around Cinco de Mayo. So probably till May.
So it's made for Ruiz to win, right?
Nah. They just got to bring in an audience.
You Wilder better knock him out, but don't go score.
Well, hopefully sooner than that because we're in August. We're in October right now, correct? So hopefully it's sooner than that. If ideally it should be in February. Yeah. It should be.
Good fight. Well, it's a good fight. Wilder. I mean, people complain about Wilder's sparring partner, and I kind of did as well, but I didn't think HELENIUS would just lay down like he did, bro. Let me
ask you this because go ahead. Let me go ahead, finish up, and I'm gonna ask you this.
Yeah, I said when I saw the punch, right? I said, shit, that guy took a dive.
Yeah, we gonna talk about this.
That's what I thought initially. That's what I thought initially. No, hold up. That's what I thought initially, right? Then I watched it in slow mo, and I see the hit, and his head jerked back, and his eyes shut down. And then I said, no, that's not the fake. That shit's hard, right?
Yeah.
And it got the momentum doubled because he came forward. So it's like because it looks thing, but because he's coming forward into the impact, throwing a punch as well.
Yeah,
nah, ain't no fake. That shit hit him.
Well, you didn't even hear the impact of that punch in the arena, man.
Well, the impact of his head hitting his body hitting the canvas. I think that's what I heard. But but
you didn't hear the impact of the punch before he hit the canvas.
It
sounded like a gun.
Like a gun, right? Caught. Wilder's got a right hook now.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you see, Malik's got him he got some weapons, man. He caught him going backwards as well. Off the rope, going backwards.
Well, you know what? I think even though we didn't get to see any improvements because it only lasted one round, but the one little improvement I did see is that he's trying to learn to fight more off his toes and on the back foot. Because Malik is trying to get to understand it. You can't rely trying to come forward and stand toe to toe with guys anymore. You can't afford to do that, especially with guys who are bigger than you. You know, so you're gonna have to give them. You have to get those bigger guys to start thinking, get them guessing, be on your toes, give them angles. You know what I mean? I think that's what he was trying to work on last night. But too bad we didn't get to see much more of that. But that's the sense that I got. He's still a little, footwork is still a little sloppy, I'm not sloppy, but he's still a little bit off balance. That's the thing. And I know sometimes if you don't have balance, you either you got it or you don't. But I think they really got to figure out how to get his balance a little bit better. But other than that, it's good to see him at his optimal weight, 214, 215, 220, no more than 225, if that, no more than that. I mean, Wilder needs to stay at that weight. He's fleet. He's faster. He's got endurance. In fact, he was even breathing hard after that fight. When the round was about to end.
No, he could fight. He could fight next month for real, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it looks like that. Like I said, though, he said himself that they were actually sparring to 723 rounds. So they definitely working on his conditioning again. So yeah.
So let me ask you a question, right? So that fight, he's eliminated for WBC.
Yes, that's an eliminator, not the final eliminator, but the eliminator, not the final eliminator.
Well, if Wilder wants that work with Dillian White, let's get that on, man. I think that's a fight could draw money. I think that fight could in the UK, and like Wilder should take that fight. And like, yo, I think Wilder should put his foot down in the UK and say, yo, we're going to the UK, and I think we're gonna take on Dillian White. Try and get it on Sky Sports, and let's get it cracking. I think Wilder should just base himself over here. I mean, if he's saying Ruiz, then fine. But I'm like, yo, but Wilder's like, shit. I don't think he would have do that, but I was like, yo, that's a good look. Go fight Dillian White, man.
Yeah, you know what? I think the plan is, and I heard Shelly Finkel talked about this before the fight. He said that their plan is to get Wilder in with the Usyk. I think after the Ruiz bout, get him in with the Usyk. Should he win that fight, then
Who
they
said that? Really? Who said that?
Yeah.
Shelly Finkel?
Yeah.
Now, why would he do that? Why do you want Wilder to lose for? What's wrong with him? Why do you do that for?
Yeah, look, I agree. I think Usyk's
leave him alone. Why leave Wilder? Why leave Usyk alone, man? Usyk is about to retire. He just want to beat Tyson Fury, and he's out of here. Let him go. Why you want to do that? Why would you want to do that for, man? Like you ain't going.
I'm just saying though. If he does beat Usyk, and they think they're confident of their chances of beating him, I don't see Usyk. I don't see Wilder beating Usyk. But if he beats Usyk, right, then they could go ahead and get that fourth Fury fight for the undisputed title. That's what their plan is.
Nah. If he beats Usyk, he gonna fight AJ. That's what he gonna do. Don't be silly. Don't be silly. You see that the AJ is the money fight, bro. That everyone's good.
You think Hurt's gonna risk AJ at the state of his career right now?
Bro, AJ will be AJ and Wilder is money, bro. It's straight money to get his belts back. Of course, man. AJ, but that's a long haul, man. Because right now, look. Usyk ain't no one being Usyk. Like ain't no one, Fury don't want him. Usyk can do what he wants, right? Usyk's got some Joe Joyce, Philip Hogovich, and he's got Wilder lined up. And who else he's got over there? There's another guy. Daniel Dubois. Yeah, he's got Daniel Dubois. So he got his own troubles.
Michael Hunter.
No. Daniel, no, I mentioned the guys lined up. IBF.
Yeah. Michael Hunter is going to be the WBA mandatory because he pretty much
it's Daniel Dubois, man. It's Daniel Dubois, man.
No, I think they changed the rules on that because I think Hamed brought this up. They changed the rules because since the WBA is consolidating everything, the regular champion fights the. No, actually, you know what? You could be right. It's so weird.
Yeah, he is. It's Daniel Dubois. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah, Daniel
Dubois is there waiting for Usyk. He's next in line to fight him to the undisputed. So
I tell you what, I don't think Dubois wins that fight. He ain't got no chance against.
Nah, but they don't care. It's it's money. It's biggest ever payday. Like get a couple mil, fighting champ. Yeah, that's what it is. But he's a big lump though. He's young. Usyk old, bro. He's 35. Daniel's 20 something. You know what I mean? He's a fresh heavyweight. He's a problem. Hergovich, fresh heavyweight. You know what I mean? Like these is a Joe Joyce. Usyk's got problems, man. He got problems. He got to pick a poison.
Yeah, it's true.
These are not easy heavyweights to win. They're not coming in fragile, thinking that like AJ, just like tapping and pecking. They're coming into blast, man. They're coming into blast.
Well, you said yourself about maybe about a few weeks ago. Maybe it was best for AJ to lose because you realize those mandatories ain't no joke.
No, you know what? To be fair, if AJ was there, I think AJ got a good chance of blasting all them guys up because they don't move. But for Usyk, I think Usyk got hard. He's got it hard. You get me against them guys there. I think these are hard chances Usyk because they're game and they're fresh and they're not gonna come in with that. Oh, we're gonna come in with AJ. They're gonna be more deliberate and more imposing.
Cautious. They're gonna take chances.
Yeah, they're gonna take chances. They're more deliberate. They're more imposing, and I think they're gonna try and put hands on him. Who's that? Is that Mark Breland? No, it's not Mark Breland. It's Mark Breland. It's Devin Haney's ring. No, in the ring with Devin Haney. God, let's watch the Kamboses fight. No, listen,
big boys. Hey, big boys, just comment here. What's up, big boys?
Yo, what's up?
What's going on, man?
Not much.
Well.
Yeah, it's been a while, man. Yeah, great. Great boxing yesterday. We saw some heavyweights in action. I know Dempsey McKean was on the DAZN Australian card. I did get a chance to watch it, but I heard that he didn't really impress. He was supposed to be guy be lined up to fight Anthony Joshua. So I don't know.
Don't bother watching, man. That guy's trash.
But Eddie Hearn is setting up a fight with Joshua and Dempsey McKean probably for Australia, part of his world tour supposedly. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, they want to get a big name down there and give Dempsey a chance at something. He's kind of been promised a decent name, isn't he? So it could be Joshua. I think it's more likely something like Dillian White even. But there ain't too many choices over at Matchroom for heavyweights anymore, is there? So we'll see what happens. But Dempsey McKean hits anybody of any decent skill level, I think he's toast. I think he'd even lose to Jonathan Rice in a rematch now.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
He's got no inside game whatsoever. He was uncomfortable against this unheralded German Corte. He was lucky the German gassed out and gave him a bit of space to box instead of crowding him. That's the only reason he won, really. But it is what it is, man. I don't put any credit in Dempsey McKean.
Yeah, I hear you. So as far as the Wilder Helenius fight that went down last night, I mean, it didn't really go down too much because it only lasted less than a round. But what are your thoughts on that? And do you think this was a dive by Helenius, honestly?
I think it was a hell of a mistake. He'd been listening to Tyson Fury saying, you put Deontay on the back foot, he can't box. And there's some other contributing factors. I had a feeling it was going to be bad news for Helenius once I saw Wilder in the open workout. Slimmed down. He's much faster, back at an optimum weight for himself. And he's obviously been working with Malak Scott pretty well on foot movement and fighting off the back foot. So he did well trying to make Helenius reach, like he said. That's exactly what he did. But Helenius, I think, had the wrong game plan. You see, when Tyson Fury puts Deontay Wilder on the back foot, he's getting his feet into position before he punches, whereas Helenius was throwing his punches before his feet were in range. So he's always going to be lunging and open for a big shot. He walks straight onto it and paid the price. So I think that'll be the end for Robert Helenius. And Deontay Wilder's back, baby.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, indeed. But I would say though, to Tyson Fury, to his all credit to him for his success of putting Wilder on the back foot. He came in with the jab. He always came in, behind his jab when he came inside to put pressure on him. It's not like what Robert Helenius did. He just walked into it, like you said, without coming behind his jab. And that's the mistake he made. He left himself wide open and got caught with a short counter. And what they say though is like the punches that hurt you the most are the ones that you don't see or the ones you walk into. And that's what Emmanuel Stewart always said, God rest his soul. So yeah, I mean, look, I looked at that, I want to be fair because I even said that the Malik Scott fight was a dive many years ago. EJ contested this because I've said this for many times. I am a Deontay Wilder fan, but looking at that fight, looking at that punch from a different angle over and over again, hearing the sound of that punch and the impact of it, I can't see how anyone said that was a dive. Why anybody would
no, that was a dive, man. What are you talking about? That was a dive. He didn't hit him. He didn't hit Wild. He didn't hit
Malik. You just told me a minute ago.
No. Listen. No. I'm telling you, like his guard was up. The punch didn't hit him, and he went down. Like, and
you talking about Malik Scott? You mean
The next day he was hanging out with him. So a dive. And people saying this fight was a dive. Well, listen, he did get hit. Now the question is, was he really hurt? Now that's a different question. I mean, you heard the punch. Yeah, the punch landed, and he got hurt. Well, we know the guy's sparring partner, and also we know Malik was his sparring partner. So if it was a dive, then and it was fake, then Wilder's in trouble. So I can't say it was a dive because Wilder does hit, but at the same time, the Malik one, hell yeah, I understood that punch didn't land and the guy went down. I could see it in slow mo. So that's what I do know. That's no joke, nothing really. But that one there, I saw in slow mo. It hit him, his eye shut down, and then he went down. So to me, the punch landed. And remember again, he was coming forward. When the Malik one, he had his guard up. Wilder punched through the guard, and it's like he didn't connect yet, but he just went down. Like I just don't understand that you can go down when a punch doesn't actually hit you. Were you that scared? I don't.
Well,
I don't
let me
get
just
it.
say this too. Malik didn't even land a punch in that fight. He didn't even throw a punch that I recall. So at least Robert Helenius is, arguably was winning that round before he got caught. So you know what I mean? He was landing, he landed some good body shots. So, he landed a good jab. So yeah, I don't see how that was a dive if people make it out to be. I mean, look, since you mentioned that Malik Scott fight, it also resembles a Bruce Seldon and Mike Tyson fight. Bruce Seldon went down the same way. He had his high guard up. Mike Tyson threw a right hook, and it didn't even land. And Bruce Seldon just went down, and he didn't want to get up.
That's a good point. Now let's talk about that. Now you mentioned that now.
Yeah.
So it could be the case they went down out of fear. What was
that's
coming
true.
next? So that you know what? I can go with that. If it was fear and I didn't want to get hit by it, then I can go with that. Then that's not really a dive. You know what I mean?
Well, technically it is.
If Malik was scared of Wilder,
out.
Yeah, there you go. I can go with that. But then wouldn't that be called a dive though? It's like it didn't actually hurt you. You're going down. That's what people say. That's a dive though. It's like you bowing out, but I don't want no more. I'm just gonna bow out of this shit.
Well, yeah.
Coach said the chip's cleared, so I'm out of here.
All right, man. All right, big boys. All right, brother.
No. When they take the dive, the coach tells them,
"Oh, okay,
chip's cleared," so they're out of there.
Oh yeah. Give them the yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, well, I don't know. Helenius. Why would you just give up your ranking? He worked so hard when he beat Kaneki. He was so full of life. I think he really tried it. I think Wilder did. Wilder took him out, man. Wilder. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
When's Helenius been knocked out though? You been knocked out before like that before?
Yeah, he got stopped by Johan Duhaupas, his first loss, the same guy that Wilder beat.
All right, who else beat him?
Gerald Washington.
Gerald Washington
knocked him out as well.
Yep.
So okay, that makes sense. Then if he knocked out by the lesser punches than Wilder, then that would make sense.
Yeah, Erkin Tepper, I think, stopped him too. So a while back in the day, but
I think people can't believe it was so easy. It looked so easy. That's why Wilder made it easy, right?
Yeah.
So
it was. What's striking too is that he didn't even set his feet when he threw that punch. But it sounded so.
Tepper, by the way, he stopped Tepper. He's only had the 3 losses. Yeah, Dillian White loss and then the 2 knockouts.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
You know what's funny though? Speaking of that Dillian White fight, I said too before the Tyson Fury Dillian White fight was going to happen. I said if Tyson Fury is going to beat Dillian White, he needs to look at that Helenius fight, because if you look at the first 3 rounds, you saw how Dillian was struggling trying to get in range, whatnot. Whenever he tried to lunge in with the shot, all the ladies had to do was slip out to his right, whatever, throw a check right hook and get out of the way, or left hook, get out of the way. And that's exactly what Tyson Fury fought Dillian White. Did the same thing. Threw some left hooks, get out of the way. Before he resets, throw 1-2, throw some body shots to throw off Dillian's timing, get him to confuse him. That's what Helenius was doing there in the first first few rounds of that fight until he supposedly broke his hand. He couldn't throw his punch after that. But anyhow, Deontay was crying after that after that fight, and the reason why he was crying because him and Robert are good friends. They're good buddies. They've been together, they hang out together, they sparred together for for several years. He didn't want to hurt him. So, I think there was a scene that there was a videotape. He went to his hotel room and he hugged him and said, "Hey man, I'm sorry for what I did." And Robert said, "Look, it's okay, man. You did what you had to do."
Yeah.
So
professional. Good on him.
Yeah, good on her, man. And to me, it was genuine. He didn't want to. It's like he didn't want to hurt him. He didn't want to, but but it is what it is. I mean, maybe he pulled back on that punch a little bit when he threw it. Safe to say, probably. I don't know, but it was still hard. It still had a lot of impact, but yeah, like I said though, where does Wilder go from here? Obviously, Randy Ruiz is the opponent that's being penciled in. I think that's a damn good fight. And speaking of that, Tyson Fury, talking about him momentarily, it's now been somewhat confirmed from what I've been hearing. Reports are saying that it's set, him and Derek Chisora is set for on December 3rd at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So I know, big boy, you probably had something to say about this, man. What are your thoughts about this fight?
Why? I mean, I guess it's better than Chris Healy is what they were talking about for the Southern Area title, the only title he hasn't held. But, oh my God. Derek Chisora. Nah, come on, man. If Derek Chisora is going to fight someone, it should be someone like Chris Arreola. Find a real opponent, Tyson. Why doesn't he fight I'm sure Philip Hergovic could take the fight.
Joe
Michael
Joyce
Hunter to
wants to
take the
fight.
fight.
Joe Joyce
Joe
even called him
Joyce.
out. Yeah,
Yeah.
Joe Joyce said, "I'm ready. I'll take you on," but he doesn't. Tyson Fury doesn't want that fight. He don't want to go near Joe Joyce after what he did to Joseph Parker. He don't want to go near him. He's like, nah, let me stay away from him until he gets old, a little bit older. Let's put it that way. That's what Tyson
Tyson's
Fury
no
was thinking.
spring chicken himself now, is he? He's what, 35 or something now? So he's only
Joyce
a
is
couple of years
37.
younger than Joyce. Yeah, Joyce
Joyce
is
is
37.
Yeah, he's
But
same age as
Tyson's-
Wilder. Same age.
Okay. Oh
Yeah.
wow. So waiting Joyce out for age, I don't think is a good idea because Tyson's gonna age as well. And I think Tyson's been in more trouble in fights than Joyce. Of course, Joyce has taken a few shots over the years, but he's only had a short career so far. So I don't think aging out will work for that one.
Well, you know, that's a good point because Tyson Fury himself is not really a disciplinary fighter, too. So Joe Joyce is more disciplinary than he is. So you got a point because over time, if he waits and he continues to ravage his body like he always do after fights, outside the ring, that is, that's going to take a toll on him in the later years. It's going to catch up to him. So, yeah. I mean, look, honestly, some people are going to argue that, well, at least this is better than fighting Manuel Char. I'm like, well, that's not the point. You think fighting Chisora is any better? I mean, some people would argue that, but it's still not acceptable. Let
It'll
alone
be more
this
entertaining.
fight.
That's all. But I think the only reason he's trying to take that fight is because Derek sells in the UK. He sells big time. He wants the money. But come on, man, we don't want to see that crap again.
Look, I understand if Derek Chisora was, had a title or if he was coming off of, look, he's coming off a Pulev win, yeah, but some argue that he lost that fight, and he looked like he was shot in that fight, to be honest with you. No disrespect to him, but he did. But, I mean, at this point, Tyson Fury beat Derek Chisora, dominated him in 2 fights. But
made him quit.
I'm sorry?
He made him quit in that second fight.
Oh, absolutely. He made him quit. Yeah, he made him quit. I didn't give Chisora 1 round in that fight, to be honest with you. Looking at it again, I didn't give him 1 round. So, look, I think that at the end of the day, they're best buddies, and they probably talk frequently, the conversations that we're not privy to. I think what Tyson probably did do, he promised him a title shot should he get a title. So I think this is what Tyson Fury is doing. He's living up to his word. He's giving him a title shot and get a pretty good payday. And then I think Derek's going to call it a career if, after this. That's what I believe. I'm not sure EJ agrees with that, but I think that's what this is all about. Give him. It's kind of like the Andre Berto and Floyd Mayweather scenario. Let me give him a payday. Go ahead.
No, possibly. Yeah, possibly. But everyone expects to lose. Derek might win. I don't know how, but he win. People will laugh their head up and say Tyson Fury serve you right, but Derek's getting his second shot at the title. The first shot was against Vitaly Klitschko, and everyone knows that. I thought Vitaly was going to blow out Derek Chisora, and Derek done pretty well. You know what I mean? Yeah. And the fights with Tyson Fury, the first one Derek didn't turn up; he just went through the motions. The second one, he got thumbed in the eye, and then he sat on his stool. But you got to remember, he's with Peter Fury. Now he was with another Fury on the first one. He was with Peter Fury in the second one, where Peter had him turning southpaw orthodox, and now he's with Sugar Hill. Now Sugar Hill has him standing upright and trying to knock guys out. So I think that might suit Derek Chisora better than the actual Peter Fury, Tyson Fury. So he might have a better shot in this version of Tyson Fury. But I don't doubt it. Most people would doubt it. But this is boxing, isn't it?
Yeah. Heavyweight division, anything could happen with one punch, man. Who knows? Derek could land that big shot, and, there you go. There's a fight. And like you said, serves you right, Tyson Fury, for cherry picking a guy who's washed up, who's way past his way past his best shot over the hill. And this is what happens, cherry picking going wrong. So, look, man, if it is what it is, but good. All I gotta say is good luck to Queensberry trying to sell that fight in Tottenham Hotspur, man. Because to me, they got to put a hell of a damn good undercard for them to sell that fight. They have to put up a damn good undercard, and I know Simon Jordan called him out on that and said, "Hey Frank, I like you, but you better put on a damn good undercard for anyone to buy this fight." So we'll see, man. We'll see. But real quickly, guys. So speaking of heavyweights, I'm not sure anybody really talked about this particular fight. Frank Sanchez versus Carlos Negron, who, by the way, sparring partner. Frank Sanchez and Carlos Negron were sparring partners, and Negron's helped Frank Sanchez prepare him for some of his fights. So, anyways, Frank Sanchez fought again Carlos Negron. He stopped him in the 9th round, but some will argue that this is not not the Frank Sanchez that we're accustomed to. He looked a little lethargic. I don't know if it's because of the opponent, the fact he sparred him many times. I don't know what it is, but it could be that. I mean, it could be that maybe Frank Sanchez was a little less motivated for this fight because he's looking for a big fight now. I mean, what do you guys think about Frank Sanchez? Where do you think he's going to go from this point?
Where you go, EJ?
Yeah, I think I don't know much about that guy, so to me, it's just another stay busy fight. I like Sanchez, and no one really talks about him, but he's the next one that I remember. We were talking about Luis Ortiz, but it seems Luis Ortiz look like he's done, but Frank Sanchez, yeah, he's a sleeper in the division. I mean, I forgot about him. He's crawling up. The heavyweight division ain't funny, and you see Usyk. You think Usyk would like to fight Frank Sanchez? Hell friggin' no. Hell no. I think Usyk would have trouble with Luis Ortiz, but that's just me because I feel like their style would give him trouble and they're powerful. You know what I mean? So Frank Sanchez is trouble, but yeah, this is another stay busy fight. I don't know much about him. I couldn't care if he's a sparring partner or not. You know what I mean? Frank, but he improved when he done FA Jogbar. That shit, he silenced him.
Oh
out.
yeah.
That was Ajogba's done. He ain't even around no more. Like, what's going on? So Frank, as soon as you get there, when he gets himself in contention, like he's gonna be a problem. Like, the heavyweight division might be a merry-go-round. Tyson Fury is looking for the most amount of money and to get out of there and to say, yeah, that's it, I've done it, I beat everyone. But you see, he can't even do it because the next challenger. He thought, I just want to beat AJ, get my money, and I'll leave. Nah, look at that. There's another problem coming up. Usyk. It's right on your heels. You know what I'm saying? So Fury might be looking at like, say, yeah, shit, man. And the public want to see that fight, but he knows in his heart he ain't beating Usyk. I don't think he thinks he could beat him. You know what I mean? So we see. That's why he's happy to fight Derek Zura and pick up 30 mil. Go ahead, big boys.
Fair enough. Big boys, you want to chime in on that?
Yeah, man, Frank Sanchez, that was not the Frank Sanchez we're used to seeing. I think he's carrying too much weight. He needs to be under 240. His footwork was gone due to the extra weight, I think.
Yeah.
But I think he's also had the word that he needs to be more aggressive and be more exciting for fans to be more interested in him. I do think he tried to be more aggressive, but it didn't look great compared to what we usually see from him. If he's on the back foot, moving his feet, waiting for counterpunching opportunities like he did against F.A. Jogba, then he is extremely dangerous for anybody. Prior to this fight, I was thinking Alexander Usyk and Frank Sanchez with the Sanchez counterpunching style. That's a hell of a competitive fight. But if Sanchez fought like he did against Negron against Usyk, I think Usyk beats him 9 out of 10 times.
Yeah.
But Negron, I thought he did okay considering where he is and what he is. Yeah. Those first few rounds are pretty competitive, but he eventually slowed down and paid the price. So Frank Sanchez moves on to bigger and better things. He's very highly ranked in the WBC. So we'll see where he goes. But I thought it was a bit of a lackluster performance, too heavy. And it seemed like a bit of an identity crisis for Frank Sanchez in that fight.
Yeah, I agree with that because it seems like he was caught between two styles, just trying to figure out, okay, do I do this or do I revert back to what I've been trained to do for many, many, many years of my life? Pretty much, I think, I have to assume as a kid. So it's like, it's like in that situation, you're like, dude, this is all I've known for all my life, this particular style. Now you're asking me to change it. That's going to be, it's going to take a lot of work, a lot of time to get out of that mode and develop, to kind of train your mind, train your brain to develop it to this new style. So maybe that's what it is. To see like he was caught between two styles. That's probably why it would explain his lethargic performance. Yeah, that extra weight gain didn't really help it at all because it slowed down his foot movement to some degree. And some would argue that him splitting up with Eddie Reynoso may be a factor as well because Eddie Reynoso is no longer training him. He's now with Joe Goosen, whatnot. So, I mean, Joe's trying to make him be a little bit more aggressive, and whatnot, and we'll see how far that relationship will go. But yeah, I mean, Frank Sanchez, they, let him, they need to go back to the drawing board on this one, go back to the gym and continue to work on some new things. And, that extra weight didn't really help him that much. He needs to be at his optimal weight. I agree with that. But yeah, man. So, I mean, just a real quickly, the Anthony DIRRELL Caleb Plant fight. I'm not sure if you guys watched that one, but if you want to talk about animosity between Alicia Baumgartner and Michaela Mayer, this fight definitely had some animosity between these two. And they were actually talking in the ring. There was a lot of roughhouse tactics going on. So it was a filthy fight for them, for some in some spurts, some on some parts of it. But it did end in a devastating ninth round knockout by Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant came in, he feinted to the body, he came in with a big left hook, caught Dirrell square on the chin, and he went down hard. And there was no way he could make a tip count on that one. The referee, Harvey Dock, I believe, was the one who was in charge. He stopped the fight as soon as Dirrell went down the way he did. But I think the controversial moment in that knockdown, that the controversial moment when it happened was Caleb Plant went over. Oh, he stood over Anthony Dirrell, and he gave the broom sweeping gesture at him. And Harvey Dock saw that, and he's like, no, don't do that, don't do that. So he mocked and taunted Dirrell after that knockout loss, and it was bad. It was bad because Dirrell needed to be attended to. The doctors had to look at him because it looked like he was unconscious. But again, Plant did that, and a lot of people didn't like that. So, yeah, I mean, what are you guys' thoughts on that one? I'm gonna start with EJ, man. What do you thought? Did you get this chance to see that fight in the knockout?
I just watching the highlight now. I actually haven't seen the fight. I said the knockdown. Well, Dirrell's aggressive come forward, and that's Sugar Hill.
Yeah,
it was a good knockdown, but they talk a lot of trash, and that Caleb Plan, he rose with he rose like that, that he likes that kind of talk. So yeah, man, it was a good knockdown. I'm surprised though. I'm surprised Dirrell still's even fights. Like he old, bro. So it was a good fight, and Caleb Plant, I was surprised though, because why didn't you use that big? Why didn't you do that against Canelo, bro? Like, where's all that power gone, man? You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like, you should have used it. So is Canelo that bad? Like, you could do it against Dirrell, but you didn't do it against Canelo. So, hey, listen, congratulations to him, and hopefully he moves on and done something with that
Yeah,
win.
hopefully
That
get
was
that
good.
Benavidez fight. I mean, because that's a fight we wanted to see for a long time now. So hopefully we can get that made, and let's hope that David Benavidez can make the weight because he's too damn big to be at super middleweight, if you ask me. But I'm not sure if you saw the gesture what he did to him. But
Yeah, I saw that.
shout out to Rock 89. He says that Wilder should be locked up for hitting that man like that, Robert Helenius. But he did apologize to him, man. He didn't want to hurt him in that situation. So yeah, but yeah, as far as the broom sweep gesture when he mocked Dirrell after he knocked him out, you think that was necessary, or you think that was uncalled for?
Man, I thought it was uncalled for. I think that sort of thing is disgusting. But when someone gets knocked out, if you truly respect the sport, then you should respect your opponent, even though you just beat the shit out of them. Right. If you don't, and you do those sorts of things, celebrate while the man's getting attended to by doctors, that shit disgusts me. I hate it. So I used to really quite like Caleb Plant, but after seeing that sort of attitude after he's done the job, I'm kind of turned off him a bit. So it is what it is. But I hope we get that Benavidez fight. That fight should have happened already. So let's get it.
Yeah, that's a good point because look, let's just say if he did knock him out, let's say if he was counted out at least, then maybe, okay. It still probably would have been unacceptable, but at least there's a little understanding because the man's conscious at least. But Dirrell was not conscious pretty much for a split moment, and doctors were looking at him. And he was down for a long time. And then for him to go over there and do the bruise sweep, I mean, who knows? He could have been permanently hurt, man. I mean, come on, dude. And that's why Harvey Dock had to rush over there and tell him, nah, man, he had to pull him. It's like, don't do that. Don't disrespect him like that. So, yeah, I agree with you. I agree with what you're saying. I know some people will beg the difference and say, well, first things first, Dirrell disrespected him. So why can't he do the same thing? I'm like, well, the difference is that Caleb Plant could have permanently injured Dirrell after that knockout because that was bad. It was horrible. And the fact that he went over there and stood over him and did the broom sweep gesture, that was disrespectful, man. Come on, dude. I mean, what if he had died? I mean, would you still been, what do you would, I mean, would that been justifiable to do that? I mean, come on, dude. Seriously. I mean, luckily Dirrell's okay, but still though, man, I think that was a bit uncalled for. I think it was.
Yep. Pre-fight trash talks to be expected with, trying to build the fight, trying to get eyes on the fight and whatnot, but post-fight trash talking, I think it's in really bad taste.
Yeah, it is what it is. It kind of reminds me of Teofimo Lopez when he fought Diego Moreno, Jesse Magdaleno's brother. when he stopped him. I mean, he didn't knock him out, but he stopped him. Obviously, he knocked him out a couple of times, but he did beat him up pretty badly. I mean, when the referee counted him out, I think it was they counted out to 10, I believe. It wasn't a TKO. Was it a TKO, I believe? Well, whatever it was. The referee stopped the fight. You know, no Tio what Tio does. He likes to dance, and he likes to do a victory dance in the ring and does a backflip. But he a front flip, I should say. He did a front flip towards the direction of Magdaleno, and then next after he did it, he did the broom sweep gesture at Magdaleno when he was down. And his brother and his father did not like that at all. They were so mad. They wanted to go after Teofimo for doing that. They really wanted to fight him after that. It was obviously that was disrespectful. It was uncalled for. But I mean, yeah, it kind of reminds me of that situation. I just wanted to point that out. But other than that, guys, yeah, looks like we covered everything. But Big Boys, I didn't ask you about your your thoughts about Devin Haney and George Kambose's rematch, man. What are your thoughts about that one?
I thought Devin did a bit better job. It looked like Kamboses was going to get knocked out in round 10 and 11. He was looking pretty worse for wear. So all in all, I'm glad that's done, clean and clear. Now Haney can move on to meaningful fights. It's not a fight anybody wanted to see in the first place for that one. But don't have much opinion on it.
Yeah, I mean, George tried his best, but styles make fights, and there's levels to this. And the one thing I would say though is it was very weird and confusing about his adjustments that he was trying to make, because he was trying to he was switching orthodox and switching southpaw. It's all within one motion. It was weird, and he wasn't really throwing any punches when he's doing it. It was what are you doing?
It's dancing and look at me.
I know he was dancing when he was doing it. It's what are you doing, bro? You're losing the rounds. So I think what they should have done is okay, if you wanted to get close to Devin Haney, you need to feint your way into position, into throwing your hooks, man. You're not doing that. You're throwing them from far out. You're throwing out from far out range, or even at mid range, to the point that you're telegraphing it, and Devin Haney could see that coming from a mile. You're gonna have to feint your way into position to throw your hooks. You're gonna have to give him angles. You can't just stand in front of him and expect to throw that and land that shot. And I don't know why his corner didn't tell him to do that, but it was. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I'm not saying that he would have beaten Devin Haney, but it would have been a lot more competitive fight if he had done that and start feinting a bit more, because I didn't see any feints coming from George Kamboses. I thought that's the least he would have done going into the rematch, but he didn't do that. He was doing the same thing pretty much over and over again. So, it is what it is. Devin Haney definitely the rightful winner. Brotherhood was Devin Haney's defense is overrated. I mean, he's definitely got great head movement, but the thing about Devin Haney is that he can get hit because he keeps his hands low a lot, so he gets clipped with those left hooks all the time. So I think that's why Kamboses was trying to land it over and over again. But again, to land that left hook, you got to feint your position. You got to feint your position to throw that left hook. And he wasn't doing that. He was just loading up every single time from a distance. But yeah, I mean, that's why me and EJ, we were just talking about Lomachenko, because that's the fight that's supposed to be made after this. I mean, that's if Lomachenko gets past Jermaine Ortiz. But styles make fights. I don't think Devin Haney, I mean, he needs to keep his guard up against Lomachenko, because Lomachenko arguably has faster hand speed than Devin Haney. I know some people are going to disagree with that. That's why I say arguably. I didn't say it is definite, but arguably. So that's a fight that Devin Haney's really going to have to be careful on, because Lomachenko, yes, he's a shorter guy. He got shorter reach, but what Lomachenko is very good at, and same thing with Alexander Usyk, they know how to feint themselves into position and throw their shots. They know how to do it extremely well to throw off their opponent's timing, get them guessing all the time, get them thinking all the time to the point that they're mentally exhausted. So that's what Devin Haney's going to have to worry about, and that's where he's going to have to be very, very cautious. So, yeah, what are your thoughts about that, big boy, between Lomachenko and Devin Haney, a potential matchup between those two?
It's a fight I've wanted to see for a while. I think the hand speed's pretty similar, to be honest. I think Lomachenko's feet are slightly better.
Right.
And that's definitely going to play a part in mental fatigue for Devin Haney. He's going to have eyes on the sides of his head as well as the front, both sides. It's going to be interesting to see how Haney handles it. But Haney's definitely got the better jab and the longer reach. So is he going to be able to keep Lomachenko at bay with his jab and longer reach? So yeah, it's a real interesting fight. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully Lomachenko gets past Jermaine Ortiz, because that's no walk in the park either.
Right.
So that's a pretty good fight. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll definitely see. Jermaine Ortiz is definitely a prospect, and he's hungry right now. I mean, he is Lomachenko's former sparring partner. They sparred countless times with each other. Let me throw that out there. But like me personally, I don't care, because many great fighters fight sparring partners, or vice versa. That many great fighters fight each other when they were sparring partners back in the day. So I can go on and on history about it, but I'm not going to talk about it. But yeah, Rock, shout out to Rock89 in the chat. He says that so do we want to see TL fight Haney, or do we have a bad night against did he have a bad night against Kamboses? I think TL had a bad night. I think he came in with the wrong game plan. He was overly aggressive. He wasn't the guy that we saw who beat Lomachenko day and night between the two. Not taking any credit away from Kamboses, but the fact is that Teofimo Lopez, if he had fought the same way like he fought Lomachenko when he fought Kamboses, composed, had a better output, a shot selection, that is, took his time, won the rounds, by doing what he did, then maybe he would have beaten Kamboses, and Kamboses wouldn't have been a champion. But it is what it is. He did have a bad night. That's just my opinion on it. But no excuses. He should have took that fight more seriously. He should have been more prepared. But it is what it is. Now, but again, how old is Lomachenko? I mean, I think he's 36, 34. So he's mid-age. So he's getting up in age a little bit. Lomachenko is gonna beat him up hands down. Hey, you know what? Look, if you feel Lomachenko is gonna win that fight, I ain't got no problem with you believing that at all. Because at the end of the day, Devin Haney has not fought anyone with the style of Lomachenko, or the skills of the foot speed, as Big Boys is pointing out. So it's definitely going to be an interesting fight. To me, I think it's a 50-50 fight. It's hard for me to decide who's going to win at this point. But as soon as the fight gets made, going into it, as far as the lead up and the build up, then I'll probably make a prediction, and I'll see, going towards on the eve of the fight, I'll probably determine who is going to win. But right now it's truly 50-50. I really don't know who's going to win that fight. So yeah, definitely want to see that. But other than that, I think that's all, man. I think we covered everything. What's next for Wilder? Andy Ruiz. We already talked about the Tyson Fury, Derek Chisora. Yeah, okay. Savannah Marshall, we Claressa Shields. Oh yeah, Kiwi. I think. Did you see that fight, by the way, yesterday?
Yeah, man. I saw both those women's fights. I thought Shields did win. It was a good competitive fight. I wouldn't mind seeing a rematch, to be honest. In all honesty, without those two girls, those two girls at the top of the division, who else is going to be competitive with them? I think they're a level above everyone else at middleweight. So,
yeah,
have a rematch, maybe even a trilogy if Savannah can get one back. It was a good fight. I thought Mayer won the other one by a round, but I'm not going to argue with a close fight. I thought that was a good fight as well. I wouldn't mind seeing a rematch of that, but Baumgardner wants no bar of a rematch, apparently.
Yeah, she wants Yumi Choi. Yeah, she wants Yumi Choi. And let's be for real. I mean, I'm not sure if Choi's going to want to take that fight, because she's been hiding out in South Korea for a long while now. And, she's supposedly co-promoted by Matchroom, and they haven't really got anybody. I mean, Choi, it's like they really haven't gotten Choi anyone they really want to fight, other than somebody who's an easy touch. She's been holding that title for nearly 8-9 years now. She hasn't really done anything. And I know she was supposed to fight Maeva Hamadouche before the COVID lockdowns happened, but they never rescheduled that fight, and Hamadouche went on to fight MIKAELA Mayer. So it's like, I'm not sure how realistic is Baumgardner going to fight Choi. I mean, that's if Choi really wants that fight. I'm not saying Baumgardner doesn't want it. She definitely wants that fight, but does Choi really want it? That's why I have to question. But as far as Mayer, if you think Mayer won the fight, okay, cool, no problem. But the one thing I will say though is that I'm not going to say it was a robbery, as many people make it out to be. And neither woman dominated that fight. Neither one of them. The only dominating moment that you saw was one round when Baumgartner pretty much busted up and pieced up Mayer. That was the 7th round. That was it. But other than that, there really weren't no really dominating. There was no domination by either woman. So I agree with your point. We need to see that rematch. I know Alicia is saying no, okay, if you want to get Choi, if that's a realistic fight, then go ahead, go with the Choi fight because that's an undisputed fight. But if you can't get that fight, then we definitely need to get that rematch. But what I'm concerned about, I should say, is MIKAELA because she's too big to be at 130. I'm surprised. I'm surprised how she can even make that weight because she looked like she was goddamn near light middleweight when she fought her last night. To me, she looked like she was around 150.
She's definitely a slim build. She said she can make 126 if she wanted to.
I don't know about that.
That's crazy.
I don't know about that. To me, she struggled to make 130. It was apparent to me that she struggled to make that weight. So, and Alicia said this. Some rumors that Alicia BAUMGARDNER struggles to make that weight as well. But between the two, Alicia kind of has a little bit of a somewhat easier time making 130 than MIKAELA. But if we were to get that rematch, it has to go up to 135. I think that's where it's going to have to take place. Raider, what happened, bro? Long time. I haven't seen Raider in a long time, man. Raider, shout out to Raider in the chat. Yeah, Rock 89, all four fighters, all four ladies, they did fight their asses off last night. Shout outs to them, Claressa Shields, Savannah Marshall, MIKAELA Mayer, Alicia BAUMGARDNER. Definitely two great fights. Definitely want to see those rematches. But like I said though, to your point, Kiwi, anybody else above Marshall and Shields at the moment, that's arguably a good point that you made there. But I would argue Christina Hammer is still hanging around at 160, so maybe we could get that fight between Christina Hammer versus Savannah Marshall. That's a good intriguing matchup right there. If anything, I think Marshall will win that fight because the thing about Christina Hammer is that she's not very good dealing with fighters who put her under pressure. She's not very good at dealing with that. So that's definitely a good fight. Claressa Shields, I think we need to get a rematch between her versus Franchon Cruz at 168. I know Franchon Cruz is big. She cannot make 160. That's not going to happen. But I think Claressa can make, Claressa definitely was a unified champion 168. So she can make that fight. We can get a rematch between those two. So I definitely want to see that. But other than that, yeah, man, women's boxing is thriving right now, man. Let's hope that they can keep up the momentum. Speaking of that, I know this particular women's fight is going to be a big one, but unfortunately, it's not going to happen in Oceania. I know that's Australia. That's Shannon O'Connell versus Ebony Bridges. What's your thoughts about that one, man?
That's an interesting fight. Was it Shannon O'Connell's been giving the other girl grief about not fighting her for years?
Yeah.
I think it's a real competitive fight. Be interesting to see it. It is weird that it's not going to be in Australia with two Australian fighters, though. It's rather odd. I guess they've got to go where the money is. They'll be on an undercard or something bigger. Maybe that'll be Tyson Fury's undercard. Who knows?
Well, it's a Matchroom card because what it is, Ebony Bridges is promoted by Matchroom, and she's what it is that Ebony, she's the champion. She's the IBF champion, right? She beat the long reigning champion, whatnot, who's been inactive, to be fair. She's been inactive for a long time, but Ebony is based in Leeds right now. She lives in the UK, and Ebony does not want to go to Australia. She's been trying to stay away from Australia for a long time. In fact, she's been trying to put off this whole O'Connell fight for a long time now. She does not want it for some reason. She's not keen on fighting her. In fact, she tried to get an exemption by the IBF. And by the way, this is the first time the IBF has ever ordered a fight in the women's boxing. This is the first time they ever done it. And Ebony, from what I've heard, didn't even know that Shannon was her mandatory. And so when the IBF called that fight, she tried to get the IBF to pull that to put the fight off. She tried to get an exemption so she could fight someone else. And the rumor is that she was trying to fight some warm up somebody we don't even know about. Not even Jamie Mitchell, which I'm surprised. But anyhow, the IBF denied the request, and then Shannon's been trying to get them to get that fight over Australia, which does make sense because she's a veteran. She's been around a long time. She's fought all over the world. She's came up short in world title fights. Some argue that she beat Choi, by the way. Yumi Choi that we just mentioned. Some argue that she won that fight, but it is what it is, She had to go to Yumi Choi's backyard and fight her in South Korea. Didn't get the decision. Some people felt that she should have won it. It is what it is. But I think Shannon, it's her time. I know she's up in age. But if you look at the style matchup, I think Shannon's going to beat Ebony because Ebony is going to deal with somebody who's longer and bigger than her. So that's something she's not really accustomed to. So that's definitely a good fight. There's definitely, if you want to talk about bad blood, that's definitely bad blood between those two. I can't wait to see that presser.
Yeah, man,
So
I think it's a bit of woman scorn from Ebony Bridges trying to shut out O'Connell after some of the stuff she said. That's basically why I think she applied for that exemption. But good on the IBF for not taking any of that crap. The people who have earned their shot need to get their shot. But yeah, is O'Connell not a bit old? Maybe I'm not sure. I don't follow women's boxing that closely, so
yeah,
it's going to be an
yes,
interesting fight.
yeah. Kano's definitely old. She's like what 38, I believe, 37. She's definitely up in age, but Ebony's not that far off. Ebony's about 34, 35. So she's in her mid 30s. So the age difference is not too much. That's not too much of an issue. But the thing is that Shannon, she's been in a lot of wars though. She's been stopped before, but she's had a long career. So she's battle tested. Let's put it that way. She's more battle tested than Ebony. And Ebony, we all know that in one of the fights that she had before she won the IBF title, she fought Gangloff, the French contender, and we saw that fight. I'm not sure if you've seen it, but Ebony lost that fight, and she got a gift decision because obviously she's promoted by Matchroom. So she did get busted up by Shannon Courtney. We saw that fight, but other than that, I just think stylistically, I think this is tailor made for Shannon O'Connell. I really believe that. So, because Shannon can box, so if she wants to, she could box her from the outside, and Ebony can't do anything about it. So the whatnot. So she's got the longer reach. So, uh, yeah, we'll definitely see how that plays out. But other than that, shout out to Fight Doctor. He says that Usyk won't get up. I'm not sure about that one. I think people are writing off Usyk against Deontay Wilder. I think that people shouldn't do that. And we, remember people did that with AJ. We saw what happened in those two fights. I know Deontay Wilder's more awkward. He's a lot more cumbersome, as you want to call it. He's not as predictable as Anthony Joshua. But I think stylistically, I think it's still a bad matchup for Deontay Wilder to fight Alexander Usyk. I think Usyk has got the upper hand. He's far more craftier. He's far more trickier. He himself is a little bit unpredictable because Usyk always gets people thinking you don't know what he's going to do because he always approaches a fight a different way. That's what people don't notice about Alexander Usyk. So, yeah, I'm not gonna don't count Usyk out and don't write him off against Deontay Wilder. I think that's a bad mistake, a dangerous mistake, I should say. So, yeah. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and shut this down. I know EJ's sleeping in the background, but other than that, I know it's late in the UK. I mean, he's dozed off. But hey, thanks for coming on, big boys. I really appreciate it, man.
Sweet as. Just a quick tip for anybody who hasn't seen it. If you go to the PBC website, go and watch Giovanni Brujon v. James Evans. Giovanni Brujon was piecing up James Evans, put him down, went for the kill after Evans got up, and Evans landed a big shot through the kitchen sink, and the referee stopped the fight. Evans wins, comes back off the canvas. So go and check it out.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely take a look at that, man. Hey, thanks, I appreciate that, man. So yeah, shout out to everybody in the chat. Rock 89, Fight Doctor, the Brotherhood, Joe Host, Raider. Long time no hear for Raider. Shout out to Raider. Other than that, guys, I'm gonna shut this down. BG London, whatnot. So I'm gonna go ahead and shut this down. I know EJ's sleeping in the background, but until next time, guys, I am out. Peace.